Creating circular structures like this can seem daunting and difficult, but it really doesn't have to be. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. It's actually really simple and cheap. With only one real catch, which I'll reveal at the end of the video. Follow me and I'll show you how to cut circles like a boss. I'm Adam Haig and this is 3D Games. Start off by using a strip of MDF. I'm using this offcut from a previous project. It's 4.75mm thick and roughly 50mm wide. The length will determine how large a circle you can cut. Mine was cut down to 30cm for ease of use. Cutting a notch into one end will make it easy to align with the hot wire. Measuring from the notch, I drew marks at 5mm intervals. Drill a small hole at each mark and make sure the holes are only just big enough for the nail to fit snugly. You want to use a finishing nail rather than one of these so that it can sit flush. Tap your nail into each hole and then pop it back out. This will create a small indent for the nail to sit flush. Okay, now let's address the elephant in the room. In order to use this, we're going to need something like this. Or do we? If you have one of these, you could always get yourself a cheap clamp or vise like this and then clamp it so that it's vertical. And then I guess you'd need some kind of platform for it to sit on. And then you'd need a platform probably with a notch in it so that the foam can go directly onto the hot wire. You can do it, but it's a whole lot of faffing about. So I'm going to stick with my Proxxon hot wire cutter, thanks. So for an extra level of usefulness, measure the length from the hot wire to the guide trench, then measure the same length on your cutting jig. Gluing a piece of balsa wood at the same distance will ensure your jig doesn't shift when cutting. Sanding down the edges will help the XPS to rotate smoothly. And there it is, it's simple and costs basically nothing. Simply align the hot wire with the notch and press the balsa wood stop into the guide trench. Press the XPS foam into the nail and start spinning. The main issue with it is that once you start cutting circles, it can be very hard to stop. For more of what this jig can do, check out my Farmer Maggot's house and my floating island builds, linked in the description. Now to create larger circles and curves, like the deeping wall of Helm's Deep for example, you're going to need something a bit more like this. But I find most of the stuff that I do, this works perfectly fine, and it's just so convenient and compact. And what's cool too is if you drill a large hole at the end, then it's easy to store on a nail on the wall. If you found this video useful, please hit like and subscribe and share with your friends. If you have hobby tips and tricks of your own, and maybe a DIY tool that you like to use, why don't you let us know in the comments below. And if you'd like to support this channel to help me produce more content like this, then please consider joining my Patreon account like these wonderful people. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time at 3D Games. Until then, good hobbying everyone.